Hi, I'm Naomi Swickard, the Senior Director of REDD Plus Program Development and Innovation at Verra. So the new REDD methodology really takes an innovative look at how to account for activities for reducing emissions from deforestation and degradation. So historically, the way that that's been done is to evaluate a reference area, in other words, an area similar to the project, but in a different part of the jurisdiction, and use that as a way to predict what will happen in a project area. This new methodology really turns that on its head, and we're looking top down at what is the deforestation across the entire jurisdiction, and then based on deforestation risk, it allocates that information down to the specific project area. So why is that important? Because it ensures that there is alignment with the national scale accounting. And under the Paris Agreement, countries are counting and reporting for activities at the country scale. And so this ensures that the accounting for project activities is aligned with the jurisdictions, with the governments, and ensures that any activity across the entire jurisdiction will add up to and harmonize with that jurisdictional accounting. Verra has a new role in the process to allocate baselines. So instead of project developers developing their own baseline and submitting it for review, Verra is actually working with a range of third-party providers to collect the data, to allocate the data, and essentially we'll be giving those baselines to projects, which should make the process more efficient. It should reduce the cost of baselining for project developers, and ultimately also remove any potential for conflict of interest. At the moment, project developers spend a significant amount of money just to analyze whether a particular area is realistic for project implementation. A part of that is a lot of the work that needs to be done on the rights to the area, to ensuring community engagement, and those things will continue. But a big chunk of the difficulty and the cost has been on estimating baselines in order to determine whether this is a place that has significant deforestation that can be addressed by the project. So this new baselining approach will make that much more efficient because once the data is produced for the whole jurisdiction, you'll really be able to see what the allocation would be to different parts and really streamline that assessment, particularly for project selection, but also for the whole beginning development of projects and the baselining that's required for that. So there has been a lot of discussion in the REDD sector around the concept of counterfactuals. So what that really means in practice is that projects are developed to prevent the deforestation that would otherwise occur, right? We're talking about natural ecosystems, which we are trying to protect from loss. And so when we're deciding the baseline of a project, what we're really trying to look at is, if I didn't develop this project, what would happen to that area? Now, as soon as we go in and develop a project there, or as soon as anyone goes in and develop a project there, that reality no longer exists, right? Now there is a project instead of no project. And so we can't move away from a counterfactual because it is simply the reality that we are implementing an activity that would not otherwise have occurred. But this new approach really removes the subjectivity of that. Because we're doing it top-down with jurisdictional data, because Verra is the one undertaking the analysis and giving that baseline to projects, we've removed the subjectivity of a counterfactual. But we are still saying, here's what the data tells us from the last 10 years, and we're going to use that to project what's likely to happen around the jurisdiction based on risk factors, and use that to allocate project baselines. When we look at the overall problem of climate change, the drivers of emissions come significantly from deforestation, degradation, and other land-based activities. About 8% come from deforestation alone. When we look at the potential solution for climate change, almost 30% of the potential climate mitigation in the world is in the land use sector. In addition to that, if we don't protect standing forests, we will lose much more from a biodiversity perspective, from a perspective of all of the ecosystem services that forests provide, and water protection and pollination and species diversity and all of these things. And we simply can't afford to lose it. We can't afford to lose what we have, and we can't afford not to restore what we've lost if we want to have any kind of realistic solution to climate change.